Let's talk about Arsenal then, because maybe unexpected result in this one. I think Leverkusen were at home against Arsenal. 1-1 was the final score. Arsenal were perfect in the Champions League phase. This is the first time they drop any points, Thierry. Games
away from home in Champions League are always difficult. I said it and I will say it again. I do think that still Arsenal will go through. It will be a different game at the Emirates. I don't think Arsenal were good tonight, but they managed to bring a draw back to the Emirates, and that's one of the things I would say about Arsenal, that back in the days people were saying that Arsenal cannot win ugly, that they cannot bring a game back or try to, man versus boys, you can't defend the lead, you can't defend anything, you always get bullied. Now Arsenal are pretty good at that, and people are not happy that they're good at that now because they went away from maybe the way we used to play. I'm talking about how they used to play also 3 to 4 years ago. So I said it before, and I will say it again, and we were saying it in a green room. You don't have to like how Arsenal play, but you can surely respect it. You understand what I mean? It's not about, but it's not about what you like or what I like.
Oracle again, is that it?
I'm just saying that doesn't mean...
You don't have to like it. But you will.
But listen, I'm not saying that Arsenal will win the Champions League. I'm not saying that Arsenal, and you know where I stand, that are going to win the league. I'm just saying that they were a team that people used to call them on something that it looks like that they couldn't do. Now they master it, and they still didn't go over the line. Hear me well. But now people are complaining that they find a way to win games.
We're all bored.
No, that isn't what I'm saying. What I'm saying is, again, Rosinho likes to play that way. It's not your team. This is my team, actually, when we talk about Arsenal. But is it what I like to see? It's not an issue. Simeone and Jose Mourinho used to be praised for playing a certain way. You don't always have to control the game being in possession. You can control the game in many ways in football. And they did find a way. And yes, again, I repeat, Arsenal were not good today. But they managed to find a way to bring something back home. And again, let's see what's going to happen towards the end of the season if we can celebrate something.
I think
we're far from that.
A really interesting thing here for the Premier League is if City, we look like, go out, Arsenal, I think, will go through how much of an impact this has on the Premier League. Because I think Arsenal should get to at least the semi-finals. That could have a bearing in the Premier League.
Interesting.
Martin, because the majority of that team was completely different from the team who started in the FA Cup, so they had a rest.
10 changes, and you'd have thought there would have been a bit of freshness. It is the 46th game of the season. You are playing against a Leverkusen side who's quite underrated. The home record there has been outstanding. So if you're sloppy at any point you go behind, it's going to be difficult to get back in. And that was the surprise from an Arsenal point of view. The tempo wasn't moving the ball nearly quick enough, particularly at the start of that second half, and they got punished.
And Leverkusen, they came out at the start of that second half, Karen. They flew out of the blocks and actually could have scored from the kick-off.
Yeah, Leverkusen came out, but Arsenal didn't, and that's where it started. From the kick-off, I think Saka just steps in as if to go, right, I'll go and press, and now fair play to Leverkusen. We said aesthetically they're a good team, they play through you, and they went, right, we'll throw this at Arsenal and see what they do. And to be fair, Raya comes off with an unbelievable save there, but switched off. Arsenal was still in at half-time in the dressing room, Martin.
And I think as well, so much now in the Premier League, these restarts, kick-offs particularly, are kicked out of play, and that was they tried to play through Arsenal, and then this would have been embarrassing because, look at all those Arsenal players at the near post and the middle of the pitch, and it's just a movement at the back. I don't know if Eza slips and it's his man, but they get, it's far too easy. It's a free header at the back post. I don't think it'll happen again. It's very unusual. I think in 127 corners in the Bundesliga, I think they've only scored 4, but they've done pretty well with that one.
And unusual from an Arsenal point of view as well. They've only conceded from 4 corners in the Premier League, none in the Champions League until that moment.
No, you saw the coach giving the Arsenal set-piece coach maybe a little bit of banter, saying you're not the only one who takes this seriously, and we saw something, a weakness in you, and it was because it was from the kick-off. They saw that, which is a set-piece, and obviously the vulnerabilities around the back post for that corner.
And Everton are probably going to look at that, Martin, and think we're going to do that all day long at the weekends.
That's right. That was an up and under, wasn't it? That incredible kick-off. But there you are. Maybe we look at the Premier League and talk about, don't we, how good we are. But they were looking, the German league were looking and saying, we're trying to play through you. And it certainly worked tonight.
And, of course, controversial, the fact the goal scorer perhaps shouldn't have been on the pitch still? What do we think? Because he was booked at the very beginning of that match, Karen, but there was a couple of fouls within the first 4.5 minutes from him.
I mean, that one's a very simple yellow card. Gyökeres has turned him, rolled him, and he's in there. There is a covering defender, but that is 100% a yellow card. And fair play to Gyökeres, he's playing up against him and putting himself in that position to maybe try and get him sent off. But that's a block. He knows what he's doing. I find him to be very lucky to still be on the pitch there. I think the ref has probably thought, I'll give you a little bit of a warning, but if he probably didn't have the first one, he would have got one for that one if he wasn't already on the yellow.
Well, it's exactly the sort of challenge you do not make when you're on a yellow card, so the referee very lenient.
And then Madueke came on. He came on for Bukayo Saka just before the hour mark in that match, Martin, and really did make a positive impact.
Yeah, definitely. Much more dynamic, really going at his defender. And for me, it was a penalty. You had to see it from different angles first, but that left foot definitely gets trapped in from the backside or torso of Tellman. For me, there's no doubt about that. Okay, but I think it was
if that was given against Arsenal, though, what would you be thinking?
Well, you're turning things around, though. It wasn't, Lindsay. There wasn't a penalty given against
But would you be saying to me he hardly touched him?
Well, what I will say is that VAR won't go. VAR won't go against that if there's any kind of contact, and we can see there was contact. By the way, what I will say, this took a lot of bottle, because that's the one player who probably had the most to lose in this moment, and he wanted it. And that, for me, is really impressive. Puts it away emphatically. Too much pace on it for the keeper.
It was against his old team, isn't he? He's been out for a long time with injuries. Yes, he's been coming back, but the pressure to do it against your old team when you're 1-0 down, that's where you are, right? But he also needs that for his confidence as well. So, but fair play to him.
His old team who gave him a plaque before the game, and that's how he repaid them.
That's what you've got to do when you're professional, haven't you?
He did. He dealt with that pressure moment.
Hope he scores another one in the return leg.
Really well, didn't he? Yeah, stepping up. But the man who won that penalty, Noni Madueke, is with Archie Rintutt.
Noni came off the bench today, made the difference. How do you see the result overall?
Yeah, of course we came here to try and win, but when you can't win, it's good to draw and not lose. So yeah, we're full confidence going back to the Emirates. Obviously Everton first, and then we're confident that we'll get the job done in London.
What were the final words from Mikel Arteta before he sent you on?
Yeah, just go and try and change the game.
You did that with the penalty. It seemed like it was actually the back of Malik Tillman that caught you.
Yeah, no, I don't really know what happened. All I know is I felt contact, go down, penalty, so yeah.
Your belief in Kai when he's standing over that penalty in a place that means so much to him was?
100%. Obviously, I know Kai very well. He's been scoring high-pressure penalties all his career, I think, and yeah, it's top composure, top courage for him to step up, and I'm really pleased that he scored, not just for him, but for the team as well.
Can you talk to me about finding the right moment to change the pace of the game? Because you have that ability. How difficult is that to sense the right moment?
Yeah, well, when you come on and your team's losing the game, it kind of gives you that extra impetus, you know, to go and take risks, and because you have to try and change it. But yeah, that's something that I try and work on, when to go slow, when to go fast, and try and mix up as much as possible.
And the overall performance today from the team, how do you sense the mood in the dressing room with it?
Well, when you score in the last minute to draw the game, it's a positive thing. Obviously, there were certain things we could have done much better today, and we know that we're the first to look in the mirror and see where we can be better. But yeah, like I said, to draw in the last minute of the game in a Champions League round of 16 away to a top team, they played very well today. Yeah, it's a positive.
Just finally, can you just let us in there a bit? What exactly do you think could be better next week at home?
Yeah, just our basics. Yeah, on the ball, I feel like we weren't as good as we can be today. In terms of threatening their box, I feel like maybe. But yeah, these are all things that we'll work on, and I'm sure we'll show that in London, for sure.
Noni, thank you.
Thank you.
Cheers.
He did change that game when he came on. Was his performance the bright spot tonight?
Yeah, he came on, energy, and he mentioned there about picking the right time, and he was positive. I said before the game I felt the left wing back, the left side was a vulnerability of Leverkusen, and Arsenal perhaps in the first half didn't take that. But when he came on, he was positive. He penetrated into the penalty area and was really positive, so I can't knock him for that. He changed it.
Has he proven now time and time again why Arsenal wanted to sign him?
Without doubt. This is why you roll out that money, and you want, you know, for Saka, we were reliant on him so often, so many occasions, particularly in Europe. But now you can turn to Madueke. He comes on, he gives you that extra performance. You know, he's chomping at the bit really to get on, and you want players that do that, make an impression. He continues to progress and get better and develop, and I think that's a good sign because you need that. You want competition for places. Saka, if even Saka is looking over his shoulder at this young man coming on, then you want that in the group.
Does he deserve to start ahead of Saka at the moment?
No, I think you know you can. There were other reasons, but I felt on that right hand side. You know, without Ødegaard, you think about what they've had over the years. Ødegaard would be on there to complement in that three, the structure. You might have had Ben White making runs down the side, Timbers coming inside. You know, and they were doubling up on him. Sometimes 3 players on him. So it wasn't easy, but obviously Madueke found a way to get through.
What did you make of Saka's performance this evening? Because so often he's the hero for Arsenal, but he wasn't at the races tonight.
No, he wasn't. I wondered, did he have a little bit of a knock or something? Because I also think sometimes you don't play well as a winger, but he's still your captain and he's still your best player. I know you're saying, yeah, but there's other people playing for places and fighting for places and competition. But for me, if he's your best player, you don't take him off because he can produce moments of magic. So it doesn't feel right, you know, whether he's fatigued because he's played so much football. But he wasn't quite himself tonight. He wasn't picking the right moments to take people on, and he was a little bit sloppy in possession, but he's still the captain, he's still the best player, and I'd still rely on him. I'd still give him another start next week.
It's the key thing, though.
That's a concern, though, at this stage of the season.
The thing is, the manager is like spinning plates. The key thing is the manager can recognise it and see that, and on the hour he gets him off, and he puts the player on who can do the job, and that will happen between now and the end of the season.
How much did they miss Ødegaard tonight?
Well, a player of that quality, I think he's that connection. And you want him available. You don't want those injuries at this stage of the season. So be welcome back when he's ready.
Well, the manager did make that substitution, and it had